Moving on, nimbly trembly from
Shut
tree
up!
to tree.
Shut up! Let's make you do
We're
the
already
music,
live.
please.
It's fucked.
I'm going to try and do the music, but everyone was jumping all over it, so
Well, go
I'll
ahead.
take your guys' suggestion.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yes, because we have the A-team panelist here tonight.
Yes, we do. Well, welcome all to this. Thank you, Heavy B. You have to. You just completed it. Thank you. All right. I want to introduce my panelists tonight. I'm Night Strike, of course, but I'm here with Heavy B.
Hello, how y'all doing today?
Cool.
Eh?
Here, Sean Ponery.
Good evening, everybody. Screen shares are coming soon.
We're all in trouble.
Yeah, we're all in trouble. But and then last but certainly not least, my co-host Smeggy42.
How's it going, everybody? Hope you enjoyed the music.
Or am I your co-host? I'm not sure.
I think I'm your co-host. I don't want that responsibility of being the main guy.
I'm just your Ed McMahon, bro.
Oh, so you're the guy who's always sitting there on the couch commenting.
Yeah, I'm your Ed McMahon to your Johnny Carson.
Or you're the Andy Richter to my Conan O'Brien. There you go. All right.
What's that dude that was with David Letterman? The drummer dude, he would always just go like like he laughed like such an idiot.
I only know Paul Schaefer from David Letterman.
That's it.
Yeah, he's the one. His laugh was horrible. Ugh.
All right.
You are correct, sir.
Wow. All right. Tonight we're going to talk about a couple things. One, I want to get this out of the way first because I want to talk about it first. We talked about it the other night on Match Chat, but we're all aware of that lying SOB journalist up in New York who said he got PTSD from shooting an AR-15.
Oh, no. He's not lying at all. You're talking about Kuntzman. That guy? He's not lying. He just has vaginas for hands.
Right. I'm not going to comment on that, but yeah. So here's the thing. I was just trolling Reddit today, and I found a good video of a guy showing that there is no way possible that you can get PTSD from this rifle. And
The guy who shot the gun off his nose.
The guy who shot the gun with his nose. Yes, I thought that was awesome. I'm gonna share it in the chat so everyone can see it. They should really go and see that video because that was a giant fuck you to the guy up in New York. And it's just the factor that it proves that if you get PTSD from that rifle, you're pretty fucking weak. And I mean, you're so weak. You are so weak that you should probably die in like a minute because, damn, you're just wasting away.
You're gonna make me change my screen share.
Is that where that meme came from? Then I saw something on Instagram where someone was like, "I was driving a Prius and the acceleration of the four cylinders was scary." And
here you go.
That must have been where it came from.
There you go. This is Kuntzman. This is the man you're talking about. This is the man who couldn't fire a gun that a 5-year-old kid could shoot without getting a bruise on his shoulder in his lemongrass drinking, vegan, easily bruised, thin-skinned cunt face. This is the guy right there. Got stung by a bee. He's got a sucking chest wound. So.
Yeah. So, and when I said to chat, I mean the Gun Channels chat. But if you're on the YouTube side,
join Gun Channels.
Join Gun Channels so you can actually see what we're talking about.
Walked out to check his mail in the heat. Felt like the Baton Death March. That guy.
Yes, that guy. I needed to get that out of the way first because that
was a great starter, man. That guy is just a fucking little liberal bitch. That's plain as I can put it. It's like anything that comes out of New York is instantly discredited. New York Times, they've taken all the stories from all the women in Trump's life and completely misconstrued their interviews, and then they've all gone on other shows after the article was written saying they took all their words out of context. Carrie Prejean, his ex-girlfriends, his ex-wives, whatever. And it's like, that's the New York Times. And then you got this little bitch from the New York Daily News who apparently can't fire a .22 caliber sporting modern rifle that a 5-year-old kid can shoot without a single problem.
And 10-year-olds.
And he gets a temporary case of PTSD, and he almost lost his hearing on an invite to a professional gun range.
Yeah, and then
Wait,
there's a
you said
video.
He almost lost his hearing,
Yes, apparently.
and it was a 22 version of an AR.
Oh, it's a 223. It's a .22 caliber bullet.
Oh.
And he's got ringing in his ears and anxiety and a temporary case of PTSD, which within 24 hours he reneged his story and apologized to soldiers who actually suffer from PTSD. And he said 12 hours after the fact that it was his initial reaction to the situation. No, it wasn't, you cunt. You fucking went to this situation, you wrote a biased story 12 hours later to try to push some bullshit liberal slant, and you got
everyone's
fucking
calling
called
you
out
fucking
for it.
out on it.
And you're just nothing but a little liberal bitch.
Yeah, well, that's like, I forget who it was, but someone like they got mean comments on their Twitter or something, and they said that they had PTSD from people like making fun of them online, and yeah, the same thing. All the vets were like, "Fuck you," like that's a serious thing. People get it. It's it's not something to just throw around all over the place. Like, oh, I kind of had a bad day. I must have PTSD. Like,
Okay.
you obviously don't understand the sickness or the illness or whatever you call it.
All right, Heavy B, are you there? Or are you still frolicking off?
I'm still here.
Okay. Speaking of liberals, Heavy B, what's the situation going on in California? I hear 4 of the 5 bills are actually making it through.
I'm guessing. I mean, you told me that yesterday.
Apparently,
I
they're
literally
going to the
walked
governor's
in the
desk.
door. I literally walked in the door, so I've been unable to check and see, but I'm pretty sure they have. It would not surprise me.
So that sucks because I'm sure one of them is taking away the bullet button, which means that you're literally going to have your magazines.
Out of the five that I think that we're going through, none of them with a bullet button.
Okay, what are the ones going through? Do you know?
I just got home. I mean, literally, I've been here trying to log on to your show and all that, so I haven't exactly.
So the answer is no. He's not sure.
He's not sure. Okay. All right. Well, I wanted to just get an update on that situation, and it looks like we're gonna have to do some more research on that. So, what else? Is there?
Pretty much like that the Irish guy in Braveheart said, "You're fucked." That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah. Right.
Well,
Talk to the Lord
speaking
Almighty.
of 4 things.
I'm fine. You're fucked.
We had that vote, wasn't on Monday, of the 4 bills, and I have to say, man, I had to go to dinner. I didn't get a chance to watch the end of it. I saw the first couple, but I guess from what I heard, all of the bad ones were voted down. So the universal background checks, the terrorist watch list equals no buy list. What was the third one that was bad? I forget. The third one, it was dumb.
Universal
And
background.
then- was that?
I think so. One of them was.
I don't know. Anyways, I saw a thing today that they're reintroducing the terrorist watch list, no buying list thing. Like, so they got voted no, so they're just gonna put it back out again.
You know why they lost that vote? Because those idiots don't know how to pass a bill. They wanted people on the no-fly list and the terror watch list to be instantly denied. Those people might be duplicates of names of other people who should be on that list, but, just because they have the same name, they're guilt by association, right? The reason that their bills failed was because They wanted to go straight to deny because those people are too stupid to realize that the federal background check has 3 responses: proceed, deny, and further review. And they seem to keep forgetting what further review actually means. Your BATFE clerk does not have the security clearance for special operations military personnel, does not have security clearance for high-ranking police officials even. These people, everyday guys just doing their job, get denied every day. They get delayed all the time with a further review just because the clerk doesn't have the security clearance. It doesn't mean you're a criminal scumbag. It just means that the person reviewing your record is some 20-year-old spotted oink who doesn't have security clearance, and they have to pass it on to the FBI to clear your name.
Well,
You know?
yeah, isn't that what happens to Yankee all the time? Because at some point in
Yes,
his life he had some
does
type
get
of
further
clearance.
reviews, sure. And
He
the
gets
thing is
delayed for time
he
and then
understands the process. He's like, it's an inconvenience, but he knows that the clerk who's expecting to get 1,000 background checks a day, who by the average citizen should just fly right through, those guys have the clearance for that. But, God help you if you have somebody who actually has some experience in law enforcement or the military, who has a security clearance or an intelligence clearance that's beyond the peon doing the background check. So that goes to an FBI agent who has 3 to 10 business days to look into your file and clear you, And the thing is the liberals out there, they want to instantly deny, and that's bullshit. They need to do further review so they can have somebody with the proper access to clear you. Yes, it's still an inconvenience. Yes, it's a forced concession. But yes, if you do it the correct way, you will still pass because you have nothing to hide. They're going to look up your file and go, wait a minute, this guy's just a duplicate name of somebody else who's on this list who deserves to be there. This guy's fine, clear him through. You're going to sit a couple of days, but you're still going to get what you want. And the reason that the Dems keep failing in their useless conquest for gun control is they're going straight to demonize when they should be straight to scrutinize with a cautious eye, and they're not doing that. And that's why all 4 bills got struck down yesterday, because that whole movement is led by a bunch of ignorant morons.
Well, that's a good thing for us, right?
I suppose. I mean, it's
If
still
they're a bunch of ignorant morons and they go, rah, 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 throw it out there. And
true.
then they go,
The
no,
people
you
who
can't
have
do
nothing
that.
to worry about, this was a great victory. The people who still get delayed, it's a sidestep. They're like, you know what? I'm still going to have to wait a couple of days. It
They
is what it
give you-
is, but
they
it's
give you
not
an
getting
option.
worse.
Well, they give you an option to put your social security number in there. I do.
Yes.
Because I know for a fact there are several Brian Brewers out there, and that's my name, people, in case you were wondering, that you could Google it, and you can find people that are in prison constantly with my name. So I put my social down. Obviously I have to give my driver's license number as well, but those 2 factors right there pop up to me, and they shoot me straight through.
That's a
Now,
good point.
I still gotta wait 10 days, but that's because
That's
I'm in
just your
California.
state's process, though.
Right.
I mean, you passed the background check with flying colors because you filled it out with its entirety with your social security number. It's not like the people doing the BATFE background checks is going to do a credit check on you, so you really got nothing to worry about.
Speaking of background checks, I have to have a NICS check done on Thursday because that's when I get my lowers.
Did they ask for your fingerprints?
No, they don't, because in
You're
South
fine.
Carolina you're not required to.
Then you're perfectly fine.
I mean, it's South Carolina. It's not, California.
The People's Republic of California, thank you. We are a communist state out here. And I
don't know,
want
man.
to reiterate the need for people to donate to the California Refugee Relocation Program.
See, I have this funny...
As soon as I set it up, people, because I'm I've actually gotten people going, how do I get on that list? How do I get to be on the California Relocation Program?
Well, if it's just you first, I know people that actually donate to help get you out of there. So,
See, I got this funny feeling because they're talking about the Chinese are becoming more and more aggressive with the U.S. Navy presence in the South China Sea. And, just the political landscape just keeps making us look like we're heading into a fallout situation. So who's to say that Heavy will not become the leader of the NCR? He will be the leader of the new California Republic. The sensible people who don't have these bullshit background checks and bullet buttons.
So what you're saying is he and all the gun-loving Californians are going to move up to Northern California?
No, they're just going to lead the free people of what's left of California if the Chinese invade.
If I move anywhere, it's going to be out of California. It's not going to be anywhere else in California.
Don't worry, dude. We'll link up with you in, Las Vegas once it's over.
All right, cool. Thanks.
Because as we all know, in the video game world, if Vegas gets nuked, it'll look the same as it did before.
Well, no. If we go by the lore of the video game, the first place we have to defend is Alaska. Operation Anchorage. That's where the Chinese will invade. That's how the story goes, at least.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Chinese invade Alaska.
City is going to look
United
the same.
States annexes Canada. Suddenly, power armor becomes a reality.
Well, I'm all for them annexing Canada and telling Bob that he can't own his high powers anymore.
No, are you kidding? If we annex Canada, Bob is set free. Not only does he get to own his high powers, but we get to own freaking, Narinkos again.
Well, anyways, I just want to point out, if any city would look the same before and after a nuclear attack, I think it's Detroit.
Yeah, Detroit. I'm with you on that.
No, I'm going to disagree. I think Detroit would be cleaned up a lot.
Hey, man, that's why we have Devil's Night. We got to burn them bitches down.
Heavy, you don't know how close to right you are, because once, the invasion, if an invasion ever happens, and Detroit's going to be cleaned up of people with 5 Qs in their last name.
That's interesting.
Like when my dad left Detroit, somebody actually paid to put a billboard up saying, "When the last white man leaves Detroit, please turn the lights off." Now that was a racist thing back in the 50s, but it was quite true, looking at the demographic of who lived there. Nowadays, it's not like that. Now it's whoever comes and leaves Detroit, if you don't have 5 Qs in your last name, please turn the lights off, because the Arab population in Detroit is massive. It's like, 40% of the population of that city now?
I'm not up to
I don't know about that. I mean, I know they're in Dearborn. I don't know that they're in the city of Detroit.
They've got their own radio station, Arab Detroit Radio. It's massive.
So that's because that would feed Dearborn, though. That's where they all are. It's the city right next to it. But anyways.
Well, I noticed Tony has joined us.
Yeah, hey Tony, how's it going?
It's going pretty good here. How's everybody?
Okay, now, is this the Tony that bought the Sky?
No, this is Tony from Illinois, another place that doesn't really like gun owners. Or gun owners that don't live in Illinois, they don't like.
Right.
Well, that's bullshit.
Even though 2 of their representatives and senators were on the anti-gun bandwagon just a few days ago.
Well, you know what? I'm thinking. I've been thinking about this for a long time, all of 5 seconds, and I'm thinking we should negotiate a treaty with the liberal anti-gunners. They say, okay, you guys can have New York, Chicago, Washington D.C., and then all of California. But the rest of the country experiences constitutional carry reciprocity throughout the other areas that are not infected. And
so you're conceding the cities and states that they already have a plurality in.
I was going to say they already have Chicago.
We'll take them. We'll say, okay, we'll take, so I'm in California, so we're all right, we'll take all your liberal anti-gunners over here, and in exchange, to free states, we'll take our pro-Second Amendment people, and then, it's it'll be a trade.
Can we just devote them to Greenland?
Huh?
I can't get behind me because we have to pay for Chicago.
You gotta make it got to make it, pleasing to them because they already have foundations, like they're settled in those areas, and to bring more of their kind to them would be make them happy, and to get rid of their opposing thought process, i.e., the pro 2A people, that would make them even happier.
That's why I think we should just deport them to Greenland.
Well,
Give
no,
them
no,
China.
I say we deport all of them to Greenland in a nice cold place so they don't have anything to blame about global warming for.
Sean, you're looking at it like you actually have a say, or I do. Like you're it's like I'm going to say you're going to do this, and if you don't do it, well, fuck you. You're going to do it anyway. I'm looking at it as trying to make a negotiation. We corner them. See, this way we get them all in one spot, in smaller. We're able to contain them easier. Okay, and then we can live free. We can live free, and they can live their way, and nobody, there'll be no conflict. This is a win-win for both sides.
You see, I'm totally with you on that, but you have them geographically spread out. You want them in California, you want them in Chicago, and you want them in New York. I want to just say, let's give them all one place. Let's send them all to Greenland, where it's nice and cool, so they can't even blame things on global warming.
No, they're not going to give up California.
Oh,
they love it here.
So we have to trade.
I mean, they've
send
got
them all to
Disneyland,
California.
Magic Mountain, Knott's Berry Farm, SeaWorld, Legoland, Universal Studios,
The Golden State Warriors.
The Golden State Warriors, the Lakers, the Clippers. They'd be happier here. So we just let them come here, and in exchange for them, it's like they move here, and then we move where they were at. And then everything is better.
I've been to a couple of Clippers games. No one's happy in that arena because they never win.
Dude, I'm totally happy.
I hate to break it to you, but the Clippers actually been pretty good the last couple of years.
Yeah, they're badass now, actually.
They've had a long running streak of being bad.
Yeah, not for the past 4 years.
But for the last couple of years, it's like it used to be all Lakers, Clippers suck. Now it's all Clippers, Lakers suck.
Exactly. We're going to bore the panel real quick, but yeah, ever since they had Blake Griffin, Chris Paul, DeAndre Jordan, Jamal Crawford, and I'm missing one, Paul Pierce, that team has not sucked. The Lakers have been a joke.
Okay, good. Sure. Let's double back around. But yeah, I don't think we can give. I don't think that would work with liberals.
I just don't want them attached to the mainland.
Well, then
send them to Greenland, damn it.
No. I'll piss I off with this, and I'll also piss Hawaii off.
Hawaii.
Why don't we send them all to Hawaii, where they have just as bad gun laws?
I don't want to give them Pearl Harbor.
Hey! Don't fuck with Pearl Harbor.
Exactly. Don't fucking pollute Pearl Harbor with a bunch of liberals.
Here's an idea.
Look, it's simple. It's really simple. Honestly, I think my idea is a good one. I think it could work. I think we can negotiate that with them to where they'd have their gun-free zones in their areas that they like so much, and then we could just live free in the rest of the country, like a majority of the country.
Can we offer it to them only after Oregon and California and Mexico chip away at the border and actually free float the state?
No.
That's what I'm saying. Just give them California and Mexico.
And see, look, you don't want to do that. You want to put them in California, then chip away at the border. That way they're already there.
All right. I'm with you on that.
Move to San Andreas.
And if they ask what's going on, say we're building a big moat to keep all those nasty, evil 2A people out of California, and they'd be like, yeah, you do that. And then everything would be great.
All right, I'll support that. I'm down with that.
Okay, so, this is a feasible idea. We can do this. We just need to find a platform to reach them and let them know, hey, we're willing to treat. Huh?
We have to send Kuntzman there, too.
Agreed.
He's in New York. Leave him there.
I don't know. At least remove him from being able to tell people stuff on the internet or just in the media.
If they're secured in their own little anti-gun worlds, then they won't bug us anymore. They'll be where they're happy. They'll have all their kind with them. You know, they'll be in their true. They'll be able to form their little mechas, and then when they're all happy and they think everything's hunky dory, and then the terrorists will hit them and probably kill them all because it's a soft target. So
You're dreaming heavy.
if you're gonna dream, dream big.
Get them all in California and then nuke San Andreas.
Well, it sounds like Heavy B wants to make big state petting zoos for liberals.
Yes, I think it'd be great. You get them there. They have the right to believe what they want to believe too. I mean, this is America, right? Okay,
Yeah.
as long as it doesn't affect anybody else. So see, this way we can give everybody what they want, and everybody's happy.
This is coming from a Californian, by the way.
I'm just gonna keep posting
radical ideas.
Kunstman memes all night, so just be prepared.
All right, so let's leave the liberalism and the Californianism and just push that to the side. Let's talk about the four not four, but the failed bills that didn't happen on Monday. Let's talk about some of that.
The Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse.
I don't know what it was, but it was bad. And
Well, one of them was not all four of them were bad. 3 of them were brought up by Democrats. 1 of them was brought up by a Republican, and it had something to do with making it harder to be put like on the no-buy list because of mental stuff or whatever. Like it give you a chance to appeal or some crap. I didn't read the words exactly, but it was something that wasn't as bad.
okay.
Bad nonetheless.
Nonetheless, none of them passed, which I want to say that's a good thing, but at the same time, I agree on the fact that terrorists shouldn't have guns, period. But the fact is that
They're gonna get them.
they're going to get them regardless.
They're gonna get them, and they'll use bombs, or they'll use planes like they have in the past, or they'll use trucks full of fertilizer, or
No, but let me finish, okay? But I agree they shouldn't have guns. They do anyways. They're going to get them no matter what. But at the same time, I also believe that we shouldn't sacrifice the American people's right to own firearms, because of terrorists. And some of the bills that were out there could have affected the American people just as well.
See, that's the problem.
Sacrifice freedom for security.
It's not secure at all.
The problem is,
Fucking A, stop!
the problem is there is a structure and a process already on the books. It's
What's going on,
already
Spidey?
there.
I'm trying to
and
mute.
yet
Please,
nobody
someone
is
mute me.
abiding by it.
Okay.
They're not letting the system that's already there work. They're trying to split hairs on something that's already there. And all they have to do is use what's there, and then this wouldn't even be an issue. There was some asshole from Chicago who tried to write a gotcha piece about how easy it was to buy a gun and pass the background check, and he went in and bought a gun, and he was denied. And he said, "Why was I denied?" Okay? He was trying to show how easy it was to sail through the criminal background check, and he fucking failed. And then he asked the gun store why he was denied, and they said, "Well, technically, sir, we don't even have to tell you why." But he said, "Look, I just want to know." So they finally told him. They didn't know he was a reporter, but they told him. They said, "Because you were at a risk for having multiple DUIs, and you were on record as being a chronic alcoholic." The system worked, and it failed to, get caught out on a loophole. He tried to bust the system, and the system busted him. This happened like 3 days ago.
On a
Good.
side note here, there is number 5 being discussed right now in the Senate.
Yeah, I wanted to get your guys' opinion about that one guy that was throwing out complete and absolute lies and doing a whole 15-hour filibuster. You remember that, right?
No. It was not a single man with a 15-hour filibuster.
Okay, what?
It took
I was
12
under the impression it
Democrats to
was.
do 15 hours. It took one Ted Cruz to do 21 by himself.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
others all did questions, so to speak. They got up and gave their friggin' spiel, and then the last line was a form of a question.
And also, sorry about that stuff earlier. I was trying to pull up the article. I didn't realize there was a video, and then my computer was lagging out, and I couldn't mute myself and all that. So I
It's fine. Don't
apologize
worry
for
about
that.
it.
But
Robot.
you started talking about it, and you said, now, I think we all agree terrorists shouldn't have guns. And, yeah, that's true. However, by, framing it like that, it's kind of agreeing that the people on this secret watch list or whatever yes, they are terrorists, therefore they shouldn't.
See,
And
I'm not the kind of person
the whole
who
point of it is that
I
this
didn't mean
is
it
not
like
a list of
that.
terrorists.
Don't construe it as I'm for gun control. I'm not for gun
No,
control.
I'm not saying.
I don't want the bad guys to have guns.
Maybe finish his statement.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to say you were. I'm just saying by phrasing it like that, it kind of ends up playing into their hand. Also, I found a little nice summary on the thing, and so the amendment by Feinstein would allow the Attorney General to deny the gun sale to anyone if she has a reasonable belief, a lesser standard than probable cause, that the buyer was likely to engage in terrorism. The proposal is properly known, whatever. It's known as no-fly, no-buy. But it wouldn't just apply to people on the no-fly list. So that's the other thing, I was under the impression it was actually like the list, but technically it's anyone the Attorney General feels like has a reasonable belief that they could be a terrorist.
I got two responses to that. Number one, Loretta Lynch is the woman from Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. She could never find Carmen Sandiego. All her credibility is worth a hill of beans, so fuck her. Second, they are trying to go from one end of an extreme to the other. They're trying to say if you're on that list, you're instantly denied. Now, people like you, me, G-Webs, Night Strike, Heavy B, everybody would say that is a direct infringement on your civil rights, and I would agree with you. However, if we are forced into a society of forced concessions, what they should have done was they should have said if you are on the no-fly list, the terror watch list, if you are a repeat domestic abuser, offender, whatever, if you are a person with the same name as one of those people, you won't be denied because that is an infraction on your civil liberties. You may be given a further review. Let the FBI clear your name. Let the process work. But they don't do that because these liberals are fucking retards. They want to go straight to deny. And because they go straight to deny, this is why they lost. This is why all 4 bills got shot the fuck down. Because they don't want to compromise. They're forcing us to compromise, and they don't want to bend an inch. So fuck them. If they don't even know how their own system works that they created, then it doesn't matter what the hell they demand afterwards. Because they're not even letting their first system even work.
I have to agree with you there. Fuck them. Don't give them anything.
Don't give them shit. They created
Right.
this system, and they won't even use it. Until they make the one that's in place work, anything they say after is irrelevant. They forgot there's a third option. We should use that third option. We don't want criminals to have guns just like they don't want criminals to have guns. But the only way to make sure that they are vetted properly is you give anyone even questionable that response and let the process play out. That is due process.
The problem though, I hear what you're saying, and I do agree with what you're saying. However, what I'm worried of or scared of, whatever word you want to use, they're already talking about, oh, well, if you get delayed and after 3 days, you can get it anyways, even if you haven't been cleared yet.
Right, but that's been debunked.
So if
that is
you
already
couple
debunked.
those two together and say, we won't deny them right off the bat, we'll put them under further review, and then they end up passing something that says further review can be indefinite, and there's no recourse, like there's nothing you can do, they'll just start doing that to people, and there's nothing you can do about it.
You're talking about them putting them in an infinite loop. However, the process is, and see, originally I had this mistaken. I always thought it was 7 to 10 business days for the background check in a further review situation. What I found out afterwards, much like the refugee vetting process, this has been fast-tracked. It's 3 days. They can do it within 3 days. What happens
Right.
is the FBI assigns an agent to your case as soon as you get a further review, meaning somebody has to waste their time at the FBI on your background check to look into you. One man gets your case. They have 3 to 10 business days to look up your shit. And if they say, oh, no big deal, this is just a guy, his social security number is this number, it's just a duplicate name, because in a world of 7 billion fucking people, someone's going to have a duplicate name, this guy's cool, proceed, job done. The process will play out properly. I have no people who have been given a further review. They've been cleared in less than 24 hours because the process worked. They were law
Right.
enforcement. They had security clearances and whatever. They were cleared through. Sure, it's an inconvenience, but they were cleared in a day. Those people,
And that's okay with how it's working now. I'm just
But
saying,
they're
that
not-
they want to change how it's working now.
but the thing
in
is they
addition-
don't know, or they're not pointing out the fact that that is already an option. They're going straight to, full-on emotional panic. They don't realize that duplicate names will sail through as they should because they're clear and innocent people. They don't even realize that. They don't want to recognize that that is already happening. They want to just go straight to deny everything. And they're not, a lot of people who don't belong on that list, they want those people to be instantly denied. They don't want to let that process play out, and that's a problem.
Right, but I was just pointing out they also want to change that process to where, okay, you get assigned a single person, and it's great if you get, you have a duplicate name, it took 24 hours, awesome.
Sure.
But there is a time limit of that 3 days. Because what if that person is the type of guy that sleeps all day at his desk and drinks or whatever, and it takes him a month to vet the person?
Then that
You know,
guy's
that's
got
what
no
they-
business in the FBI. That's a
Well,
failure of the system.
I-
We need to blame the failures of the system, not the individuals going through the process. What you're saying is the liberals are blaming the people, not the system, where we are blaming the system and not the people.
Right. Well, they are kind of blaming the system. What they're saying is, basically, it might take longer than 3 days to fully
3 to
investigate
10.
someone.
I've heard as much as 10 business days. That doesn't count weekends. That means 2 weeks.
Right. But there is a thing in there that after 3 days, the gun store can sell you the gun if they haven't gotten a denial.
That's
If
what they're
you're
telling
under
you.
review and
They're
you spent 3
saying
days,
that.
you can go pick up the gun.
Right. Liberals are saying that, but nothing could be further from the truth. Just because they don't get a response, they're not going to pass that shit. They have to get a response.
No, they do. And that's what happened to what's-its-face that shot the fucking church or whatever. They had 3 days. He went in. He picked it up. He was under review. And the reason he was under review was because of like a marijuana charge or whatever. But they
Right.
didn't find it until 4 or 5 days later. And we're like, oh, crap. You shouldn't have sold it to him.
So you're saying the
Wait, wait.
FBI green-lighted him without actually fully
No.
vetting him?
They did not give him a green light. He was delayed. He was put on further review.
Right.
However, after 3 days, you can go and the store can sell it to you because the FBI didn't say no. They didn't say yes, but they didn't say no.
No.
And they had 3 days to
That
say
that shop would be shut down in a fucking heartbeat.
That's
because
what happened,
they
dude.
have to get a response, and they have to put it on the form.
That's not how. No, they
You're
can
saying
sell it after 3
got through
days.
the system somehow. The system says 3 to 10 business days. Just because the 4th day rolls around and they didn't get a response doesn't mean they can just okay it without a response. That's bullshit.
I discussed this Monday at my local gun shop, and they said no reputable gun shop would turn loose of a gun at somebody because
Exactly.
would be
They
held
will
responsible.
not pass anything without a response. They shouldn't. If they did, that shop should be fucking closed immediately.
It might be already.
You're talking about Dylan Roof. This guy filled out a 4473. He
Oh,
was
don't
given a
name
first
him.
review after 3 days without a response from the FBI. They just said, "Oh, fuck it. We'll just let him have it." You know how fast a shop like that would be closed in Texas? They would be burned down.
Yeah.
They would not
Thanks for
tolerate
bringing that
that.
up, though.
Yeah, they would not tolerate that. If he got through the system somehow, that's a failure on both the system and the shop.
Okay, so we've covered why they're screwed up and why these bills didn't pass and all that crap. But can we cover the bills now?
Yes, if you've got them pulled up, please go for it.
I don't. I thought you did.
I have them.
I don't either.
If you'd like, we can do that. I was just
Yes.
going to finish.
Why
up
don't we
my
go over
3-day
some of
thing.
those, and then let's go in to see if anybody has any questions. If you have any questions, if you see right there on the banner, nightstrike1@gmail.com, just go ahead
Oh,
and
that's
send me
good.
some
They should
questions.
put that on there.
Send me some questions so I can answer them.
Yeah, you never enough ammo copycat.
You know, if it works,
Send your
do
questions to gunsandgeekspodcast@gmail.com.
no, send them to nightstrike1@gmail.com for hit or miss.
5
That
cents
would
of
be
every
interesting
question
for
goes to
people
Matt.
to ask questions about your show on Matt's show.
Yes, it
There
will
you
be.
go.
Yes, I encourage everyone out there, ask Matt questions about hit or miss. Like,
Then he has to
topic
pay
of
the
hit or miss
5 cents
next week.
royalty.
How come hit or miss is so awesome?
I mean, after all, he did absorb hit or miss. So
Why can't we get enough of
ammo
Smeggy?
franchise?
That is a Tuesday takeover.
Who is that
Smeggy-
sexy-sounding person singing the intro of hit or miss?
There you
Hey.
go.
Everyone, please send Matt emails. That'll be awesome.
If he yells at me, I'm gonna say it was all Smeggy's idea.
That's fine. I'd take it. Dude,
No. Blame him for not being here.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
address is
If
hit
you'd
or
have been here, we wouldn't have done that. But you weren't
hit
here.
or miss at thattaurusmoneythough.mat.
/ Maverick 88.
There you
I was just
go.
going to say that.
/Frick88.
All right, you want to get these bills real quick? We
Yeah,
talked
let's
about
go.
the
Let's
first
go over
one.
the some of them.
So, the first one was the Feinstein Attorney General, if they have reasonable belief, which is less than probable cause, can deny a sale. All right, done. So, the other one was by Cornell, who's a Republican, require that law enforcement be alerted when anyone on the terror watch list attempts to buy a weapon from a licensed dealer. If the buyer has been investigated for terrorism within the past 5 years, the Attorney General could block the sale for up to 3 days while court reviewed the sale. That one actually I don't see as being that bad from our point. This dude who's kind of suspicious, he tried to buy a gun, and then
Sure.
it's kind of what Sean was saying. That one, the Republican went with, it could block the sale while there's further review, which I'm kind of agreeing with you is okay, because you go in, look at it, say, oh yeah, this guy was reviewed and, whatever. And all it is just then telling the local law enforcement,
Keep
hey,
an eye on
there's this person that's suspicious who tried to buy a gun.
Yeah.
And if the local law enforcement swings by his house and he's got all these, blueprints to the White House on his wall, well, there's probable cause to search even more, and the guy might get caught for something.
Right. All right.
Blueprints to the White House. Okay.
Finally, we got some people in here. What happened?
Oh, we have a Hawaii volcano bypass.
Hey, so I have a question. So, the FBI has been investigating you for being a terrorist,
Yeah.
and they've just investigated you. They cleared you like they did this joker in Orlando, and so now you're going to re-pop up on their radar. So, really, the
Nathan,
question
that
is,
guy was never cleared.
well,
What
okay,
happened was the FBI was deliberately told to scrub all FBI investigations on a certain list at a certain time, which that guy was on. The FBI was given orders from above, aka the White House, to scrub the FBI investigation records. That's why he sailed through. It's not that the FBI wanted to let it go; they were ordered to let it go. This has happened 3 or 4 times already. They were told to scrub the list because the current administration doesn't want to be pigeonholed as racists and bigots, investigating only Muslim terrorists. They were told to clear the list. This is a fact. This has been proven and vetted, and this has been confirmed even by James Comey himself.
well, my point is, we have such an inept system to begin with. We have such incompetence as far as things this guy did and said, and just it was let go. And so this whole idea of, oh, well, if we only could do it this way, that would fix it. No, it won't, because you've got a broke system to begin with.
Oh, agreed. I totally agreed. I mean, see, the thing is this guy was under investigation by the FBI for 10 months. Instantly, that should be on his file. Instantly, when you do the background check, this should say instant further review. I'm not saying deny, because people are under investigation every day, whether they are the person in question or just somebody sharing the same name. Instantly, this should have been a further review. However, because the records were scrubbed, he had a clean record, so he sailed right through as a proceed. Of course bad things were going to happen. But the FBI washed their hands of it. They said, you know what? We didn't want to clear the record. We were ordered to.
How can you blame the FBI when they've got...
Well, I'm not blaming the FBI. I'm blaming who told them to scrub the records.
800,000 or 1.3 million people on that list, or however big it is, and they've only got 13,000 agents. 13,000 agents can't thoroughly investigate, 1.3 million, people. And as far as getting on that list, you probably get on that list if your neighbor calls up the police and complains that your stereo is too loud and
sure,
says, oh, yeah, he has guns.
Fair enough, but you're talking about 13,000 people investigating 1 million people. So 13,000 people have to investigate 10,000 people on a list each. However, they don't have to look into the specific details of that person's file until they get a further review response, meaning 10,000 people on his watch list, they don't have to look into until they are asked to.
How about just let's do
They're
away
just
with
on
the whole
file.
freaking list, I mean,
it's a big list. I'm not denying that. The problem is they were ordered by the White House to clear the FBI investigations list. Wipe it clean. Start it over. Meaning all of
they
them
also
you
have
have
all
proof
these
of
people
that?
on this list. All these people on this list are in a computer system, and I'm sure they have a program that goes through and marks the people, and then it probably has another program to look for other things, and another program to look for further things.
They probably
And
have
then
some old computer
when it
that
gets
uses
when it gets
punch
to like
cards.
certain level, it goes over to the FBI, and the FBI investigate it. So just because there's like 1 million people on a list doesn't mean
they're not
that
being scrutinized.
13,000 people have to monitor all 100 million people because they're using the computers to do most of the work for them.
And they're
So
probably using some ancient punch card computer,
No doubt. Yeah, totally. It's just, the best way I can describe this is, say you're driving in your car. You know you have a warrant. The cop does not know you have a warrant.
I know.
You are on file.
Let's put the machines in charge because they can investigate
Right.
people more efficiently.
But the thing is you're on file, but the cop that pulled you over does not know that until he's triggered. He's triggered because you have a broken tail light. He pulls you over, pulls up your information. Now all of a sudden he has access to your information because he was asked to look it up because his computer said you had a warrant. He looks it up and he goes, oh shit, this guy's got priors. I've got to arrest him. You see, all these people, the millions of people that are on the FBI watch list, they're not being scrutinized under a microscope until they make themselves public, until they go and do a background check.
Until they shoot somebody or blow
Well,
something
that's
up.
the finality of it. But I mean, if they go fill out a 4473 and they get a further review, now all of a sudden that guy on the list gets a bright green light, and the FBI agent goes, "Oh shit, this guy's on my list. Let me look into this," and then they'll say either, yeah, this is the guy, or no, this guy's social security number does not match the name on file. He's just a duplicate name. Proceed. Job done. System works.
Right. And that's another thing.
Hey, hold on. I do not know why anyone would have a duplicate name. My name is Muhammad, and I am the only one.
Yeah, funny how that works, huh? I don't have 5 Q's in my last name. I have 7.
I have 16.
I can tell you this much. There are 6 guys in the state of Illinois with the same name as I got. Different middle name, but the first and last are the same.
Wow.
So,
It's a common name.
if you went into your FFL and you filled out your form and one of those 7 guys had a prior, you might get a, quote, further review, knowing full well that you've done nothing wrong, and probably within a day or two they would say, you know what, sorry, case of mistaken identity, it's not your social security, you're clear, proceed, sorry for the delay. Yes, it's an inconvenience, but as a Second Amendment supporter, we already are forced into a society of forced concessions. 2 days, you know what? I've already got 8 guns. 2 more days to get my 9th one, I'm not going to cry over it. As long as the process plays out, I got my due process.
The thing of it is that Illinois doesn't use the federal system; they use the state.
Yeah, well, in Hawaii, they want you. They're going to start. They're starting to ask for $75, asking you to pay $75 to be put on an illegal federal rap back list. Which violates the 1986 Firearm Owners Protection Act.
Is that a state mandate or a federal one?
It's a state mandate.
Then sue your state.
Right. Well, sue the government. Me?
Well, I'm not saying you personally. I'm saying the people who feel like they're infringed should class action against the state to drop this,
so
inconvenience.
10 or 15 years later, it'll if we can make a case and somehow you have standing to sue the state, then it'll get kicked up to the Supreme Court, which won't hear it, or depending on who's elected president, will.
That's assuming it goes that far. You just want to get it to arbitration. You want to say, look, I've got these facts. This violates a state mandate from 1986. How can you even pass this?
They don't listen to reason. This is not about reason or rationality.
Well, you have to play your chances and your odds with the judge.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfuckers.
No, but you have to take your chances with the judge. He might be a 2A guy. He might not be, but you have to go through the process.
You have to find one judge in Hawaii or politician that's pro 2A. There's one. There's just one. And he's outnumbered,
I'm not trying to proclaim to be an expert on this. I live in a very gun-friendly state, so my perspective is a little different. All I'm saying is, if I were in that situation, I would raise hell, and that raising hell would get national attention, and that national attention would actually bring out some facts.
You can't get national attention in this environment. It's impossible.
Mainly because you're so far from the mainland.
California can't get national attention.
Look, physical locality actually has nothing to do with it. If you wanted to get national attention, you could get your local firearms people to file a lawsuit against the state for what they're doing.
Local
then
firearms
you sit
people.
there. Well, like your whatever, whatever firearms, say like Firearms Policy Coalition, or get the NRA involved. Get them all involved.
In Hawaii, it's like trying to herd cats.
You could always try. You're not even willing to try. You're just going,
oh, fuck
there's
you.
this,
I've been online doing shit, making posts on every local paper.
Then continue to try. This is the same stuff that you were telling me.
LGBT
I'm not saying walk away, but I'm just saying don't give up, man.
Posting
well, actually, this is hypocritical of me because I plan on moving, but
I was gonna say I gotta give you all the credit in the world, Heavy, because we told you the same thing before, and now you're saying the same thing. You do have to try. Exactly.
But see, even if I move, I'm still gonna fight the good fight. I'm not gonna give up on it. This is my whole thing is locality in this doesn't really matter. You could be anywhere in the country or hell, even in the world nowadays. And, with the internet and the ability of using social media, you can freaking fight the fight from anywhere. This is our Second Amendment we're dealing with, and every little fight we can win with our Second Amendment is something we need to do.
I remember a time where they said federal laws, federal mandates trump the state's laws. If it's a blanket federal mandate, it should overrule a state.
Good luck getting the governor. All you have to do is convince the governor that he's an idiot. What you're dealing with here is fighting the dumbass machine.
Right, but
sometimes
the thing
is get them to change their mind.
There needs to be enough of you, for instance, people like you, to be able to overturn that. For instance, right now, we have my state, Texas, is considered a red state. However, the top 4 populated cities in my state all have Democratic mayors. Okay, so we have a state that's perceived as a red state. However, it's bleeding blue, and that's spreading purple in all of its ancillary cities. And what we have done in our state is we have put our legislature, our congressmen and our senators on notice. We have said, as registered Republicans or conservatives, look, we are aware that we have Democratic mayors. However, we all believe in this notion and this notion and this ideology, and if you don't back the popular people's vote, we will vote your ass out. We threatened our representatives by voting them out. And to say that you can't do that in the state of Hawaii, if you're outnumbered, that's one thing. But if you can get enough like-minded people together to threaten, your local congressional leaders and say, look, if you're not going to represent me, we're going to vote your ass out.
Busy smoking weed and surfing to do anything like that around.
Well, then that's a fight you can never win, but you still have to keep trying, is what I'm saying.
Sure a lot.
You just have to keep fighting it.
Yeah, don't give up. G-Webs always says this, that, while I don't always agree with him, but he does say to just, always push back. If you don't push back and you let them go on and on and on, they're just going to walk all over you. We're going to lose our rights, and, we're going to be worse off for it.
If you feel like you can't
don't
win,
stop fighting.
Then
Hillary
you've already
wants to take
lost.
our guns. She just needs to keep one thing in mind, that we've all got enough toys. That the way the founding fathers set this up, there's just more people with guns than that there is federal troops to enforce some federal mandate to seize everybody's guns.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, we've got 320 million people. We've got 370 million guns.
We could burn the place down, shoot the place up, and tag the place on the way out.
I mean, that whole behind every blade of grass thing is absolutely true.
And the founding fathers set it up that way. If you read the Federalist Papers, that's Madison, that's Patrick Henry Lee, that's Jefferson. That's how they wanted it.
Well, one of the guys in the chats, Guru, said, if nobody fights, who wins?
Nobody.
Well, I wouldn't say nobody.
Well, okay.
But
if nobody fights, then the first person who puts it down on paper wins.
Yeah, that's the
Because
point.
nobody fought it.
So they'll win by default without a fight and without any pushback. So
exactly.
we got to start somewhere.
First person who puts it
what
down
we need to do
wins.
is to get that Elton John song and take out ads on the internet with that pictures of Hillary saying the bitch is back.
Though I will concede on the point in Hawaii that if you don't like where you're living and you're tired of fighting, you do have the right and the ability to go somewhere where it's a little more free.
He's trying to sell his condo. He's already trying to get the hell out of Dodge.
Where it's a little more free.
I want to get I want to get a place in the jungle.
But even if you move, you shouldn't give up. You shouldn't give up the fight.
First thing you need to do is find a gun-friendly lawyer.
In your area?
In Hawaii.
Yesterday somebody take a lawyer to a gun shop for something? All the lawyers are too busy, making money on real estate scams around here. So.
Wow.
See, that's just tragic that we live in a society where we have felt defeated because of the corruption of our area. Like you just pointed out, you are a pro-2A guy and you feel defeated because of everything that's happening around you that's just bullshit, and it's unfortunate. Well, the fight is lost before it even began.
In Hawaii, yeah, but nationwide, no.
I guess pro-2A guys in Hawaii are such a minority that they can't make a change.
Not in Hawaii.
Well, why not?
Because they're outnumbered. That's what he's trying to say.
Is there a factor that you've got more rhinos than you do?
We have the Hawaii Republican Party is run by Democrats. It's not that they're rhinos; they're Democrats.
How are they Democrats?
They're calling them. Well,
we have Republicans
in
in mainland who are Democrats. We can just tell by the way they act.
Yeah, they're called rhinos.
Yeah.
You can call them what you want. I'll call them what they are.
The listing isn't
They're Democrats masquerading, because they like to have this title that says they're in charge of something. And they've been in charge of the Republican Party for 20 years, and they literally haven't spent one penny on supporting one Republican candidate. During an election, they never canvass, they never make phone calls, they never. They're
just focused on their own re-election.
Yeah, and they basically, it's just. The Republican Party in Hawaii is corrupt.
That doesn't sound right.
It is. The Democratic Party is corrupt. And if you, I mean, it's just the whole state's screwed over. I mean, it's not blue. I
Well,
don't
there
know
you
what.
go, Night Strike. We just found a solution. We don't have to give them California. We'll just ship them all to Hawaii, and we will extradite all the good people of Hawaii to California. We'll switch them out.
We've come full circle.
We'll leave them on the island, and then we'll nuke
No,
test
just
over
put
there.
them all on a boat, headed toward Hawaii, and I'll make sure it gets sunk.
Yeah. See, we'll just do nuke testing or something. Fuck it.
The thing is this list is not a voter issue. It is a violation of federal law.
It
Yeah,
is.
It is.
No one's arguing on that.
What he's saying is they're outnumbered in Hawaii, so they won't even hear the case because it's run by liberals and rhinos who don't want to hear the case. They're too busy trying to get reelected and just enjoy their fucking sun and fun and blowjobs. So, if they're not going to hear the case, they can't win the fight because they're not even going to take the fight to a courtroom.
Well, that's it. If I can pivot this a little bit, speaking of judges that won't do the right thing even though when it's clearly against the law, I'm just reading a story here about the whole suing the manufacturers, the AR-15 or whatever, because of Sandy Hook, all that shit. Which there's straight up a law that says you can't sue a manufacturer over that unless they did something grossly wrong. And I noticed a thing down here. The lawyer for the victims' families. This quote just blows my mind. He's like, he said the civilian AR-15 style rifle, which fires one bullet with each trigger pull, are virtually the same as the U.S. military's M16 rifles, which can be set to fire more than one round with each trigger pull. Notorious military American killing machine to the public, and to continue doing so in the face of mounting evidence of its association with mass murder of innocent civilians. Fuck
So
that
he
guy.
put out a testimony of misinformation.
Yeah.
People are going to
basically on Monday Remington asked to have the case thrown out again on the fact that you can't do that, and so far the judge hasn't ruled yet.
Yeah,
but they did that in April, and the judge said, "Yeah, no, go ahead. We're not going to throw it out. We're going to keep it going." So
suing
he'll probably do the
Sig
same
Sauer
thing.
over the Orlando shooting is like suing Ford over some asshole who got into an accident in a DUI that killed 4 people in a car. It's not going to pass. It's not going to win. Ford's not going to pay a fucking dime. Sig is not going to pay a fucking dime for that MCX.
They're going to pay their lawyers.
Exactly. They're
And
going to
here's
pay.
the thing: isn't Sig
It's all
also a government
posturing.
contractor?
Sig,
Doesn't
probably.
Sig also sell rifles to the United States military as well?
Could be.
Maybe. The fact of the matter is you're blaming once again, liberals are blaming the tool and not the idiot behind it. So let them take Sig to court. Let them. Sig will laugh them the fuck out of the courtroom. They're going to be like, really? So, 34,000 people in 2015 got killed by drunk drivers. Did Ford pay a dime? No. Did Chevy pay a dime? No. Thank you. We're leaving. They're just going to walk the fuck out of the courtroom.
They aren't going to walk the fuck out until the judge dismisses the case. The simple fact is those lawyers charge a lot of money, and so that you don't laugh when you have to write out checks to lawyers.
Well, yeah, but these are the people who are taking Sig to court. Moms demand attention. Will take Sig to court.
Isn't there something, though, in that protections thing? I thought there was something, like, once the case does get thrown out, which it should, that the person who filed the lawsuit has to pay the legal fees for the defendant.
Loser pays.
I don't
Isn't
remember
that
if that was
happening
just
like
per
Canada
state.
or something?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's worse if you accuse somebody of a felony in a civil case, then loser always pays, and but the judge can, look at what your lawyer actually charged you and say, well, that's you charge. It's a super expensive lawyer, and the regular lawyer would just charge this instead of what you actually paid. So it's.
So you might get some of it back, but not.
What do you call
if your lawyer charges $1 million an hour, they're not going to pay $1 million an hour.
No.
Right, the judge won't allow it.
They'll take market value for the fees of the services.
What do you call a lawyer chained to a boat anchor at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean?
Dead weight.
A good start.
A waste of a boat anchor?
No, good start.
Yeah, see, Island just said it. The Aurora shooter case had the ammo manufacturer sued. They lost, and the losers had to pay the court and the lawyer fees. You can't blame the tool ever because it will not hold up in court. The tool never had intent. I'm literally sitting behind 10 guns right now, and not a single one has attacked me. I can't say that my Nagant 1895 revolver is, out to kill me. It's been sitting in a piece of leather for months. And these people who want to blame the tool are fools. They want to try to find responsibility for the tool, and the tool had nothing to do with it.
Right.
Yeah, there was a thing on American Dad, and someone just posted on Instagram the other day. But you know the dude, he's an FBI guy or whatever, or CIA, and his daughter's a super liberal, and she was all talking bad about guns. And so he put the gun on the table and said, "Okay, gun, go kill, shoot someone, go on, gun, go kill." And then he's like, "See, it doesn't do it by itself."
Yeah, I did send him a link. Yes.
Okay.
Well, okay. So here's something: is think about their mindset as being liberals. So they have a person who went and killed a bunch of people.
Mm-hmm.
They can't attack him on his religion. They can't attack him on his race because they're so damn PC because they're liberal.
Right.
They
So what's
attack
left?
every gun owner. They attack everybody that owns a gun.
They
Because it must
attack
be-
inanimate object. They attack a tool because they cannot attack a race, an ideology. They can't go after that because it's politically correct. Because if they go after that, they have to have the hard
They're
truth and realize.
gun owners.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is, if they stop attacking the guns and attack the people doing it, it goes so much against their.
They're not attacking guns. They're attacking the people not doing it.
I know this, but they're demonizing an object rather than a person. They cannot bring themselves to demonize a person, a religion, or a race
Right.
because that would be bigoted.
Oh,
So
and
what-
they wouldn't dare attack the
Unless
political
you're a white NRA member.
if he was a registered Democrat. They wouldn't dare touch that. So they want to attack the inanimate object instead.
Yeah, and Nathan, they have no problem attacking people. If you're a white NRA member and you own guns, they got no problem attacking you for that.
I mean,
They
there's
call
a
you
meme
racist.
out there.
Look, they held a candlelight vigil for the LGBT community.
Whatever.
Daytona Beach Airport Pavilion, and guess what? If I would have shown up with a NRA cap and a Kona Guns T-shirt and a Glocktober patch, they would have hauled my ass off to jail.
Because you would have been the rabble rouser.
Obviously, I'm dangerous because I'm wearing a hat.
Right.
A hat.
No,
All
there
right.
was a meme that came out as soon as that shooting happened, and it raised a very good question. If the president says that this man does not represent Islam, then why does he represent the entire firearms community?
Why does he represent the entire law-abiding American citizens of the United
If you
States?
don't represent Islam, even though you have admittedly pledged yourself to ISIS,
And
then
even though
how
they've got
dare
911
say
calls
that
of
he
him saying
represents the
he is
firearms community. And another thing I heard is people saying how Obama said this. He was like, "So what you're saying is that there should have been more people in that club armed like this guy. That's
Yes.
ridiculous." And it's like, you know what? I'll agree with you, President. People in the club couldn't fucking dance with an AR stuck in their pants and 40 pounds of magazines and a pistol, okay? The point is if 10 or 20 or even 30 people had just one humble Glock 26 with 2 mags,
I don't know
they
if
would
they
have
have some
easily
dancers.
outgunned this one motherfucker.
Some exotic dancers. There might be some exotic dancers that could pull that off.
Maybe, but the point is we don't want everyone in the club to be armed like this guy. We want everyone in the club, or just a part of the people in the club, to legally be able to defend themselves. If they all had a Glock 26 and an extra mag, they would have easily outgunned this one fucking guy. The first mag he dropped would have been the last mag he grabbed.
He might
So-
not even been able to get through his first mag.
Exactly. So even the president saying something as asinine as should people in that club be able to carry what he carried
Just
just
remember one
shows
thing,
how
everybody.
fucking stupid he is.
This is America. we got no place else to run if they take away our rights from here. So
Exactly.
We should
Well,
just
the
start
thing
writing
is, you
Sarah
know-
Palin to create the United Territories of Alaska.
Well, okay, so I have a question for you. So, terrorists that have killed a lot of people, obviously they only do it in places where they can legally buy guns, right? I mean, there's never been terrorist attacks in places where they couldn't legally purchase weaponry.
Oh, I got a better one for you than that. Countries that have
There's
no
terrorists
Muslim
in New
population
York,
don't have these attacks.
California. The problem is no matter what tools you take away from a suicidal mass murderer, they will find another tool to use.
Sure.
There are places all over the world where they find those tools and go in where they're like, where did they get their AK?
gas.
Go in Paris.
Gas,
How did they make their bomb? Oh, out of stuff from the hardware store.
fertilizer and rocket fuel
Yeah.
or something. You know. I mean,
And
whatever.
that's the trouble is they want to demonize an object, but when you have an idealism that allows you to murder yourself to kill other people, how do you stop that? Just by taking away one tool they can use?
You know what statistic liberals hate to hear? Is every single mass shooting that's happened since September 11th still hasn't reached 1/3 the death count, and not a single shot was fired that day. You hit them with that fact, they lose their fucking minds. They don't want to talk to you after that. I've lost friends raising that point. People I've known for 25 years have just dropped me like a bad habit because I pointed that fact out. I'm like, I was not raised in the gun community, okay? I didn't have grandpa with a shotgun. My dad had a gun, but he never really made a big deal out of it. I was not raised in that lifestyle. I was forced into it 5 years ago because it was the third time I had a gun pointed in my face. And I decided that fucking day that, you know what, I've been lucky 3 times in my life. And I thought, if this was to happen a 4th time and I catch a guy on a bad day, and if I'm going to die this day, I want to be on equal footing with my aggressor. That was the day 5 years ago I decided to actually arm myself. And it's like, you get these people who tell you that you don't even have the right to make that decision. And then you point out the fact that everybody in the last 15 years in every mass shooting hasn't even come up to 1/3 the amount of one terrorist attack where not a single shot was fired, and they lose their fucking minds. This is the fight we deal with every day. Irrational people with no facts and nothing but emotions. I make a joke saying that Moms Demand Attention didn't become popular until AshleyMadison.com got attacked. There's some truth to that.
I don't know why there's some truth to that, but apparently there is. I still don't get the correlation to people cheating and whatnot.
Because now all the housewives are bored because no one's cheating as much.
Yeah, they don't have anything to, quote, do. So now they have to go find something else to raise shit about.
I don't think it's a strong correlation or anything, but that is an interesting point. That's funny.
It's just,
all right.
I'm not serious.
All right, I think it's about time. I mean, if anyone has any questions, email nightstrike1@gmail.com. That's Nightstrike.
Guns and Geeks
with
podcast@gmail.com.
No.
Nightstrike 25-cent royalties to Matt @gmail.com.
If you've got any questions, send them, and we'll try and answer them. If you don't have any questions, well, then I think we're just gonna call it. I don't think we're
Good
gonna get
chat.
any questions.
A lot of ranting, but we had a good
A lot
chat.
of ranting, good chat. No, I was happy with it. And we got a subscriber just now for our channel, and he's got a Q in his name. So
He doesn't have 5. He's fine. I wouldn't even give him a further review. He'd be a proceed.
Okay, if he's only got 1, he's good.
If
But
he
he's
got
got
5,
like
I'm
6.
Out of curiosity, what brought up the number 5 in the letter Q in the last name?
It was some offhanded racist like Dennis Leary joke where he was talking about if you have 5 fucking Q's in your last name, we're gonna watch you.
All right.
Like that was
that
his
was
exact
weird.
words. But
All right. I want to thank the panelists that decided to show up, even the late ones. Heavy B, you got anything you want to plug?
Friday Night Sights, not this coming up Friday, but the following Friday. So come check me out. Should
Nathan.
have a lot of the same people on the panel too. So
Okay. Yeah. I'm always there. Nathan, what's up?
Just making a rig for a guy. I ordered one while I was on vacation, so I'm going to be busy for the next few days.
Awesome. We need to talk about that later. But if anyone that needs a holster, go to sheepdogleather.com, and he can totally make you a holster. He'll do it custom. He'll do custom work if you email him, and he can do it. So, all right, Sean, thanks for showing up.
thanks for having me. I know I'm a bit loud and a bit opinionated, but I'm just passionate about what we talk about.
Well, that's why you always get an invite,
Thank you.
because you always have something to say. Not necessarily always something good, but at least it's entertaining.
It's not always factual, but it's usually pretty poignant.
It's good for discussion. Well, let's
Sure.
put it that way. Smeggy, what's up?
Oh, same old, same old. I just want to plug the everysecondmatters.com. I think that's the link. G-Web's been working on it. He's making it great again. Got a good place to go to get all of your pro-Second Amendment organizations.
I hear it's
news
going
on
to
them,
be
join
huge.
stuff. It's similar to gun channels, and it looks pretty awesome from what I've seen so far.
All right. And Hawaii Volcano Squad. Thanks for showing up. Got anything you want to plug?
Well, hey, if the whole world collapses Thursday, it's like live free or Brexit hard.
Hey, and I know I said this last week, but it's really good to see you back.
Oh, I'm glad to be back on Gun Channel's chats and helping out, fighting for all the great freedoms we have in America. America is worth fighting for. It's a great country. We just gotta, beat the bitch. Beat that bitch back.
Tangerine tear cankles.
Get that bitch down.
What is it? What is it? KMDs? KMDs? Cankles of mass destruction. We can't have that in the White House.
Keep KMDs out of Washington D.C. Yes.
Exactly.
There you go. I like that.
All right, and last but certainly not least, Tony, thanks for showing up. You have anything you want to plug?
Not necessarily plug, but I would like to offer a paraphrase quote to kind of point out what we're really up against here.
Go for it.
This is from Sarah Brady. She said, only when we disarm those who would fight back can we have a truly socialist society.
I don't want a socialist society.
Yeah, that's crap. Also, wait, I have a plan. I have a plan to get all the anti-gunner laws taken out of place, and just what we do is we create a bill, we make it sound like something good, and then we tell them they can't read it until they pass it. It might work.
And that would be to remove the NFA.
All of it.
All of it. Not one part of it. Not 3/4. All of it. All right. I think that's it. We're going to call it. I'm Night Strike, and this was Hit or Miss.
Can I close this with a quote?
Go for it.
I've never considered a difference of opinion in politics, religion, philosophy, or anything else as cause for withdrawing from a friend. Thomas Jefferson.
And on that note,
Bye, Felicia.